Arise, O Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai. Save me, O my power, for thou hast smitten all mine enemies upon the cheekbone. Thou hast broken the teeth of the ungodly. Psalm chapter 3, verse 7. Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rachakodash. Double honors to our venerable apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to our Lord's elect, the house of David. All right, so Brother Haran, coming back at you with another lesson. Lord willing to be edifying and uplifting unto the elect. All right, and this is an article on a news article on Fox News. All right, and it's of course is going more into the events that unfolded, or so-called events that unfolded. Was it last week? Okay, in regards to this whole CK situation. Now, there are parts in here that, in this article here, that I found very interesting, and through the Spirit I wanted to share. All right, and that's going into this whole, things that we've been tracking in terms of, this digital beast system being set up, right? This so-called pre-crime concept, that was introduced, right, through movies like Minority Report, but now it's playing out. They got that system in China right now. All right, the whole Skynet situation. All right, so the digital panopticon is what you're seeing in China, and that's what they plan to do here in America. All right, but they know that Americans will not stand for that. All right, because they hold their privacy and their ability to defend themselves, their freedoms and so on and so forth. Right, they hold them very dear. All right, they hold on to them things. But again, you're looking at a generational change. All right, a couple of generations ago, the things that are happening now wouldn't be happening at all because the people wouldn't fall for it. They wouldn't sit for it. All right, but you fast forward, a couple of generations down, and now you're seeing these things, and these people are just going along with it. Okay, so the experiment has definitely worked. All right, and they want to shift into a different gear. That's why you're seeing all this witchcraft and sorcery going on openly. All right, I'm talking about open rebellion against the Heavenly Father. All right, and the scriptures, the words. All right, the prophecies, the prophets. All right, but that's all because the Lord is setting up, all right, the judgment that's about to reign very soon. Okay, and He's gonna do it. All right, with Esau, Edom. All right, let's get that. All right, because the prophecies talk about the Lord bringing the sword. Okay, as is written in the book of Ezekiel. I believe the 21st chapter talks about the sword that's sharpened and furbished and given into the hand of the slayer. Okay, let's see. And that slayer is the same one that is spoken of here in the book of Psalms. See if we can get that real quick. There's a book of Psalm chapter 17 and verse 13. It says, "Arise, O Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, disappoint him, cast him down." All right, that kind of reminds me of Isaiah 14. All right, Lucifer being cast out of heaven. All right, it says what? Cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. Okay, so Esau, and I literally just saw a video of Netanyahu talking about, the Israeli grade technology. All right, that pretty much everything that you see around you, for the most part, is, it has Israel. It got something to do with Israel or Israeli technology, right? So weapons and so on and so forth. He's boasting in all those things, basically. All right. But that leads me to this article here. Right, it says, FBI investigating leftist groups for possible ties to CK unaliving. Okay. It says Tyler Robinson, that's the name that they gave. Right. Tyler Robinson remains uncooperative. Tyler Robinson sounds like a so-called dark-skinned person, right? Remains uncooperative with authorities under special watch pending mental health evaluation, official said. So that's the key. All right, that's first thing I thought about when I read that was hey, the times are coming where they're gonna start making up all kinds of weird diagnosis and pushing for this whole mental health so-called crisis. Okay, and you're not gonna have a solution of, oh, you just just mental therapy. No, it's gonna be, we're going to change the way you think. That's the mental health they're talking about. We have to reprogram the way you think. You have to accept this. Remember, you own nothing and you'll be happy. That you be happy is what they'll make sure that you are happy. You see, the bread and circuses is not working. People are starting to see, all right, through the BS. People are the reality, all right, of people's misery, all right, of this facade that has been showed and taught and lived, all right, by these people as in the sense of the American culture, all right, the do what thou wilt spirit, the we don't care if God is angry spirit, we can just do whatever we want spirit, the I do, I feel, I think, or I should say I feel, I think, therefore I do spirit. See, the careless lifestyle, all that destructive ways of living, all those things are catching up, and now they're seeing it. And Esau is about to bank on that. All right, because the Lord says so. All right, so let's read here. It says, a source familiar with the investigation into Turning Point USA founder CK's Unaliven told Fox News Digital that the FBI is investigating leftist groups in Utah to see if they had any connection to the alleged assassin. All right, let me just say that. All right, so right off the bat, the FBI is retrospectively, all right, they see this time they got the guy, right? This is very interesting. He ain't off himself this time. This time they got the guy, right? He's in custody apparently, is what they said. But let's look at how they're treating, all right, a so-called criminal when he's apprehended, right? So take that concept, what I just said, and look at it a few months down the line when they start demonizing people for standing up or defying their draconian BS measures. Their, if you don't bow the knee, we're going to demonize you and deem you a threat to society, and everyone should be scared of you. Therefore, we're justified in bringing some form of cruel judgment against you. Okay? So it's all going to come through demonization. So just keep that in mind. Whatever they're going to be doing to this so-called criminal here, just understand that it's going to be coming down the pike for most Americans who will be deemed so-called criminals. All right? Thought crime is going to be a thing very soon. Your thoughts could end you up being arrested. All right? Your opinions. Okay? If your opinions are deemed so-called dangerous or looked at as a threat, all right, you could get a visit. You can get your door. Somebody can knock at your door and tell you, hey, step outside, we need to have a talk. Is this you doing this? They've been doing this in certain countries already. I think the UK, they were doing it, right? Your social media posts could land you 6 years in jail, like stupid shit like that. And that's all part of what? Behavior modification. Okay? So let's read. It says, the source told Fox News Digital that the FBI is investigating the leftist groups to see if they knew about the alleged assassin's plans beforehand or provided any assistance to him. The source did not elaborate on which groups are being investigated, so they leave that vague. Because they ain't investigating no damn groups, man. It's all being made up. Alright, there ain't no groups out there. All this shit is all made up. Alright? Because you just pay attention to the direction in which it's leading into. It's like, alright, we see what's going on. Alright? It says, Axios first reported the development. It says, Robinson's father turned him in. Ooh, check this out now. It says, Robinson's father turned him in to authorities after he recognized his son in surveillance videos that the FBI released. A law enforcement source earlier told Fox News Digital. All right, that's not. Let me get that real quick. Let's see if we can pull that up. Let's see. There you go. Found it. All right. This precept right here. There's a prophecy. Okay. This is what Yahushua said is another sign of the end. All right. Let's read. It says, Mark 13 and verse 12. It says, now the brother shall betray the brother to death, and the father the son, right? And children shall rise up against their parents and shall cause them to be put to death. Okay. So very soon it's not going to be about, you know, oh, you just went out there and you so-called assassinated. No. It's going to be your thoughts. Oh, you a Hebrew Israelite. Or you believe that the Lord is going to destroy America, Babylon the Great. Right? You've seen it now. They use a so-called Christian guy who had so-called Christian faith values, whatever. I'm talking about, you know, modular Christianity. I'm talking about secular Christianity, like modern day Christianity, not true Christianity. So they unalive one of their own, because Christianity today is a worldly religion. Okay, it's a religion of the world. You know, it's filled with hypocrites that, you know, stand around and believe or act like they believe in God or yet whatever, but they don't even know what's in the book of the God that they claim to believe in. All right, so these people are just a whole bunch of fraudulent actors, hypocrites, and the reality is going to hit them so hard in the face. All right, because little do they know, every single day as we enter closer and closer to the time of Jacob's trouble, people are fulfilling prophecy and they don't even know it. Okay? Your actual existence is a fulfillment of prophecy. All right? So going back to the article, it says Robinson's father turned him in to the authorities after he recognized his son in surveillance videos that the FBI released. So soon they're going, again, the Hebrew Israelite prophet will be put on Front Street as the problem in society, right? All these issues that we're going through, all this stuff is going on. It wasn't like that before, but now it is because of the influence of the so-called Hebrew Israelites. That's what they're going to say. Okay? And they'll say, look, they were radicalized, and, you know, look at their thoughts, and we've been tracking them for years, and they believe that this should happen and that should, and they're going to make it seem like everything that's written in the scriptures is some form of hate or whatever. You see? It's the same playbook, man. All right. But they create a system where, you know, that division, even within the household, all right, will blow over. All right. Now the brother shall betray the brother to death. All right. And the father, the son, and the children shall rise up against their parents and shall cause them to be put to death. All right. So it's going to be a huge division. All right. You got people losing their jobs now because of their so-called opinions on whatever happened. You know, yeah, some people are saying a whole bunch of crazy stuff. If you're to believe all these things to be true, the reaction is kind of wild. But are you surprised? This is America, bro. They show you in the movies all the time. These people are deranged. We always tell you all the time, we're living in a mental asylum. The shit that these people do, think, say, it doesn't make sense. It's not meant to make sense. If you're waiting for them to make sense, you're wasting your time, bro. You're in a mental asylum. These people they're out of there. Most of them are on medication, pills, whatever the case may be, diseased, sick, right? They're not going, look, this place is done. It's filthy, it's disgusting. All right? And that's why these things are easy for it to work on these people, because they don't have any real conscience, bro. Americans are like, they're just, let's keep going. It says Governor Spencer Cox, Utah, said on Sunday that Robinson isn't cooperating with authorities. Okay? Very interesting, right? It says he has not confessed to authorities. He is not cooperating. Listen, check this out. But all the people around him are cooperating. You see? So very soon you might be the only one in the family that believes on the Lord, and everybody else is like, hey, don't come over here with that. You people are really like, you guys, hey, everybody looks at you guys are terrorists or something. You know, all the shit that's been going on in all these major cities that way y'all used to preach at, y'all seen all the hell that's breaking up over there? Just as y'all said it, it's almost like y'all knew this was gonna happen. It's almost like y'all planned this to happen. That's the kind of rhetoric they're gonna spin around, man. Esau's a devil. Okay? And of course, you got this whole AI thing to join into it. Oh man, it's about to be a mess. But that's why we pray that the Lord deliver us from this, because he knows that we are innocent. All these things they're going to do and say, we're telling you now, we're not interested in any of that. To be quite frank with you, we don't really care, because it's not really for us. All right. They're going to get who they got to get, but the elect you're not going to touch. So you can go ahead and do what you got to do. All right. But make it quick. All right. We got things to do. All right. So continue. It says, but the people around him are cooperating. Right. So your family going to be selling you out. We just read that. And I think that, and that's very important, Cox said on ABC's This Week. Okay. So you being sold out for standing up for righteousness in a wicked world. All right, I believe there's a quote that goes something to the effect of the more a civilization or a people or a nation or a country or a group of people stay, the more they shy away from the truth. I believe. Damn, how does it go? Damn, I just had it. Right, I think it's something to the effect of the further a civilization goes away from the truth, the more it hates those who speak it. Something to that effect. All right. And that's what you're seeing now. Those who speak the truth are shadow banned, right? Banished, demonized. You get strikes on your page. And then they come up with weird shit like, oh, that's conspiracy. We struck you down because of conspiracy theories. And what the fuck? You could get struck down for a theory now? Like, yo, you know? Going against community guidelines, stupid shit like that. It's all behavior modification. All right. So now that's why the apostles say we gotta speak in code. You know, gotta speak in code. Right. So continue. It says, authorities said Sunday that Robinson is being held under special watch. Ooh, special watch, pending the completion of a mental health evaluation. Let's get this real quick. Another prophecy. All right. There's a book of Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10. It says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I'll give thee a crown of life. Okay, so our Lord is strengthening us. All right, that there's going to come a time where some of us are going to be arrested. All right, some of us are going to be grabbed up by who? By Esau Edom, the false accuser, the slanderer, the devil. All right, he's using his media, all right, and these orchestrated events, all right, to formulate a plan to come against the prophets of the Lord and those who stand up for righteousness. Okay, because with us in the way, he can't establish his so-called New World Order. He can't. Okay, he cannot, because way too many people are going to resist it, and that's the problem for him. You see? So all this shit that he's doing is to set up the stage in the minds of the people to prepare them to come against the men of the Lord, to demonize the men of the Lord, to be justified in using, you know, false means, false accusations, and so on and so forth, to be justified in coming against us. All right. And it says what? It says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Okay. Suffer. It says here, usually painful, right? Feel, passion, suffer, vex. Okay. It says to experience a sensation or impression. Okay. So yeah, it's going to be vexing to know that you're the only one in your family that hasn't taken to see it. You know what I'm saying? And everybody else who took it, they're so deranged. It's like to them, it's like a cult. Like, yo, you're not part of this. What you mean? We're not going to allow you to live without this. Like, if you're not trying to be with us and be part of our system, then we're coming against you. We're going to rat you out. We're going to snitch you. You can't be in this house with us no more. To them, it's like a cult. Like, you know, like what you see now. There's the build up to it. Democrats and Republicans. Oh, the liberals did this, and that's how it's going to be, man. There's going to be intense passion against each other. That's how it's going to be. Then the Lord said he's going to do that. I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptian. All right. It says, and thou shalt suffer. It says, behold. It says, which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. Okay, and go into that word prison. All right. It says, fulake. All right, it says what? It says a guarding or concretely guard. It says to act, the parson, figuratively the place, the condition, or specifically the time, as a division of or day, blah, blah, blah. Right here, it says here, literally or figuratively, cage, hold, imprison, or imprisonment, or to be in prison, or to be in ward or watch. Okay? To be in ward or watch. All right, from the word fulasso, all right, means to be what? To be observed, to watch, to keep. All right, through the idea of isolation. Okay, through the idea of isolation, that is to be what? To be guarded. So we're gonna be put in a, like it says here, they said, authorities said Sunday that replace Robinson with those who gonna stand for the truth. So blank, authorities said Sunday that blank is being held under special watch pending the completion of mental health evaluation. Until blank clears a mental health evaluation, authorities are keeping a close eye on him, the Utah County Sheriff's Department said in a statement. You see? So very soon, in a few more months, this could be any American who does not comply with the draconian measures that is going to be hitting in your various states very soon. Your tech giants are about to unleash very soon. All these meetings they're having with Trump is to make sure that what they want is established and made into law, as is written, who frameth mischief by law. Okay, and it's all leading to what? To box people in so they're forced. Okay, and if you don't comply, you can be put in prison. You can serve time, fines. Okay, but this is all fulfilling prophecy. You can be put to death ultimately by guillotine. It's all to fulfill prophecy. Okay, and there's the build up to it. They want people to accept this shit. That's why they put it out there like a boogeyman. Oh, it's to establish the system, to establish this as a result of your actions. This is what you get. We establish it. It's in the minds of the people that this is potentially something that could happen to you if you're deemed a criminal, and then boom, off you go. They just expand it from there. You're gonna see. All right. It says after Robinson is cleared, he will go through the classification process used to determine where those in custody are housed. See? As is prophesied, some of us will be cast into prison that ye may be tried. So after this guy's going to go through classification process to determine the trial part. And you shall have tribulation 10 days. To the tribulation, all right, to envision that kind of tribulation, think of the so-called interrogation tactics. Okay, the interrogation tactics done by the CIA and so on and so forth. You know, you go into that, it kind of give you an idea of what kind of tribulation some of us may be going through. Esau is going to do his best to break us. But nah, it's not going to work like that. All right. So continuing, it says, he will continue to be monitored by mental health, by mental, medical, and custody staff throughout the duration of his stay. The statement continued. Okay. So he says, the prophecy says, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days, be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Okay, when you go into that word crown, all right, it goes into the word Stephanos in the Greek. Okay, which is what is a badge of royalty. All right, a badge of royalty. It says a prize in the public games or a symbol of honor generally. Okay. Let me see if I can get a little bit more. All right, beautiful. It says right here, damn, that's beautiful. Diadem or diadema. All right, it says a diadem or a crown. Okay, as bound about the head. Okay, so a crown. So what? Royalty. Damn, that's beautiful. You got immortality in royalty, right? Because nobility is timeless at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So we just fell asleep and we're coming right back, waking up back to our power again. And that's why you devils are losing your shit. All right. But yeah, man, we're going to be, hey, that's what Job said. All right, let's see if we can get that. That's what Job said. Okay, let's get that real quick in the book of Job, chapter 29 and verse 14. It says, I put on righteousness and it clothed me. Okay, what is righteousness? Ultimately, we put on what? We put on Yahushai. Okay, we put on the word. All right, as is written, we ate the roll. All right, and it went into our stomach. Okay, we digested it. All right, and we lived. We became the word, so to speak. All right. It says, I put on righteousness, and it clothed me. My judgment was a robe and a diadem. Okay, so the that's represented what? Ultimately salvation. Okay, we're gonna get those robes, all right, and that crown on our heads. Okay, so what? Immortality as in royalty, man. That's okay, so it says a crown of life, man. All right, forever, immortality. Okay. So, hey, that's what Yahushua has in store for us. But, something interesting that I caught through the Spirit, as I was reading it, I was like, man, why they, it's very interesting because this sounds very much like soon they're going to be doing this against those who speak against, the system, predominantly the prophets of the Lord. Okay. But ultimately, the Lord said, what? Let's get this last one here. We're going to close it out. All right, it's a book of Psalm chapter 105, and start from verse 14. It says, He suffered no man to do them wrong, yea, he reproved kings for their sakes. Ooh, all right, and these kings on this earth who are coming against us, the Lord is going to reprove them, all right, for our sakes. Okay, and it's going to be visible. It's going to be seen worldwide. You're going to see the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. All right. It's a saying, touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. Moreover, he called for a famine upon the land. He brake the whole staff of bread. All right. So Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, our power. All right. He's undefeated. He's a man of war. All right. The Lord Yahweh is his name. Okay. He's going to send the appropriate power to back you devils down. And of course, you will be overpowered. You will be overpowered. All right. Ultimately, when our Lord Yahushua gets back, you will see what it means to be overpowered, man. All right. Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it off there. Lord willing, you are edified and informed. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rachakodash, the water Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai. Until next time, Shalom.
I just said this in another meeting, and they said, "Oh, Israel is isolated. Israel can't break out of the siege." And I said, "We will." Some of them have stopped weapon component shipments. Can we get out of this? Yes, we can. We're pretty good at producing weapons. Like intelligence, we share both with the United States. A good chunk of your intel. And our weapon systems, we share with the United States. We're tremendously appreciative of the bipartisan support in military matters to Israel in previous years and today as well. But do you have cell phones? You have cell phones here? No? You're holding a piece of Israel right there. You know that? I mean, a lot of the cell phones, the medicines, the foods, you eat cherry tomatoes? You know where that was made? I don't like cherry tomatoes, but it's an Israeli. What can I do? It's an Israeli product, as are so many other things. And I think this serves for the betterment of all mankind and womankind. I think that is Israel's unknown contribution. But we can make things, we can produce things. We cherish the fact that we have the constancy of American support despite the attempts to erode it. And we'll continue to work to make sure that that continues on both sides of the aisle. It's very important for us. But equally, we will eventually create the independence that we need so those in Western Europe who think they can deny us things will not succeed. We can break this siege, and we will.